Respect, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome to the stage with a warm round of applause the Honourable Member of Parliament, Mr. Derek O'Brien.
Thank you so much. Thank you very, very much. It's a pleasure and a privilege to be here. Thank the lady for the wonderful introduction. The problem, those introductions off the internet are very, very good. But, you know, they leave out certain things which I wanted to say, which I thought were more relevant than everything else the lovely lady said today. I started my career working in a magazine. The first 1 year, just out of college, I was working in a magazine in Calcutta called Sports World. So I'm very nostalgic about magazines. And the problem about nostalgia is it's a middle-aged illness. So when my friends from Outlook and India Today called me up to be here, I said, yeah, I must come and be here. So I'm very happy to be here because I worked on a floor in a media house in Calcutta which had Sports World. It sounded like a big magazine, but actually it was about the size of one long desk and 6 chairs. And the boss had another desk there. And his boss, Tiger Pataudi, didn't even have a desk because he sat in Delhi, you know. And next to Sports World was Sunday. Next to Sunday was edited by MJ Akbar. We didn't get to see Akbar because every time there were 14 ladies sitting in front of him who were the sub-editors. Behind us in another cabin was Ravivar, which was SP Singh. A few cabins away was the absolutely iconic Bengali magazines, Desh, Anando Mela, Anando Lok. So that was magazines. You go back to the second floor of ABP Group. I don't want to make any comments on the ABP Group because anyone from the ABP Group here? Okay, you're here? Good morning. Okay. You can still make your... No. But if you go back to that second floor, a lot has changed. There are no more magazines there. Oh, there was one more on that floor, Business World, yeah? So I think life has changed since then for the magazines. Life has changed for me. And so I was thinking of what can I say today which you guys don't know. So I just thought today, let me forget being a politician, and I don't have to make a speech in Parliament at least till next week. There's another aspect to my life. Besides that 1 year in Sports World, which one of the happiest years of my life. After that, I spent 8.5 years and ended up as a creative director in Ogilvy. I think there's a gentleman from Scarecrow here speaking to us. Where are you? All the best. I'm sorry, but I'm obviously out of touch because I was asking Bhaskar what's Scarecrow, then he explained to me that you're a very creative agency. But 25 years ago, there was no Scarecrow. Maybe a Scarecrow baby. Okay. So I was in 8 years in Ogilvy, and we would have a lot of... because that time the magazine and the newspaper boom was like big. And I think you all know it. What has really happened is the newspapers carried the news, the magazines analyzed the news and gave you features. And today I think the newspapers have taken the magazine space, and that's why we have Jio sponsoring this event. Don't look so, yeah. You know, you all are paying for it, so you might as well clap for it also. Yeah. So I'm not going to give you a speech because last week, and I'm not showing off, but last week I made a speech and I was extremely disappointed because I went with this huge hype, not last week, 10 days ago, last Friday. Went to Harvard and, you know, this hoopla. And before that, I've been to IIT Roorkee and IIM Bangalore and National Law School and SRCC and Xavier's and Yale. So this Harvard was all a lot of hype. Anyone from Harvard here? Okay. Okay, more hoopla, I thought, because it wasn't happening. So what else can I say? I want to leave you with 2-3 thoughts, and maybe after that, if you have any questions, you know, then I will take your questions. I think that's a better format. Let me first tell you, as a politician, okay? As a politician, when we have to break news, we first do it on digital. Like, I can give you a real story which happened last night. 2 hours and 10-minute flight, and when I got off the plane, a few things that happened. So there was messages to get out on Twitter, there was stuff to be said on Facebook. By the time we reached the hotel, in the room, the ANI cameras were already down because we had told them not to go up to the room. So, you know, it all happened. And by 11:45, it was pretty much done. You know, we had a political point of view across. And then the newspapers would perhaps take the follow-up stories. Now, where do the magazines fit in? I don't know. Suddenly, I'll get a call 3 days later. Hello, Mr. O'Brien. This is Dola from Outlook. Yeah, we wanted your comments on Bastar. I said, Bastar? You know, now, I'm not running down Outlook at all, but I'm trying to say is that, you know, it doesn't fit into the first 48 hours of the news cycle. You know, but I am very hopeful and optimistic about magazines. And I'll tell you why. Because magazines, the way I look at you guys, you all have become brilliant event management companies. And I really think it in a very positive way. You have awards. I mean, India today must be giving away awards for everything. So Outlook also has social media awards, car awards, these awards. So, you know, I think it's a very good idea to keep building on that because that's a fabulous space. I'm not being cynical and I'm not being sarcastic, but I think it's a great idea. And if I've come here on a Wednesday morning, I might as well share an idea with you. Whoever does it very, very well can make some money on this idea. You know, a politician will never give you an idea for free unless there's some agenda. But this is a genuinely free idea. I think it's very nice because I do believe that news magazine is an oxymoron. That's my view. You don't have to agree. The word news and the word magazine can't go together. So you've got to find some other way out. And that's why I think, you know, this event idea is very nice. I mean, look what Pradeep Guha created for Femina Miss India, along with Bhaskar and so many others. You know, one of the highlights of my life, I know the lady read out, I addressed the UN General Assembly. I was very excited 4 years ago. But I should have also put on my CV, I hosted a Femina Miss India. Yeah. You know, so it's like, that was the value of, that's the value of a brand. So I was telling you the free idea is you should, since you're not going to do any news, you should have awards, make it a big event. And you'll have competitive awards. Outlook do one, India Today do one. Have the politicians awards, you know. Choose the best speeches in Lok Sabha, the best speeches in Rajya Sabha, the young politicians, you know the definition of young, below 55, okay, that kind of thing. So I think political awards will be very, very interesting. I think, and again, I don't have any data, but I really do think, and this is my own example, and pardon me if I'm taking the example of Bengal, I think the vernacular magazines still have a role to play. My mother-in-law, God bless her, she's 79, will still ask me, actually both my mother-in-law and my ex-mother-in-law, who I'm very good friends with, will both ask me the same thing. Get me a copy of Desh magazine, Pujo number. Because during the pujas, Desh bring out a compendium of 35 articles in Bengali. So I don't know enough about the medium, but I dare say that was one of my thoughts when I was flying here and I didn't know anything about 500 rupee notes or that Trump would win. By the way, my wife lives and works in Brooklyn, and I really have an issue after 11 o'clock today because she's going to be devastated if Trump wins, and it looks like Trump is going to win. Yeah, so you don't want to have a wife who's a doctor sitting in Brooklyn, and her patients are going to be very upset, so I think she may want to fly back to India, and that'll really screw plans up for everybody. Okay. I had one more thought on the magazines. I had the thought of you must continue with your events. I had a thought of sharing that I don't believe news and magazines should happen together. I'll come to digital at the end, so you get your value for your money. But the other thought I had, and I don't know whether this is a wild thought or not, is there, and I'm posing a question because I don't know, is there a possibility of magazines where the price of the magazine is very high and you're not looking at big numbers? You know, let me give you an example. You know, long before I joined politics 14 years ago, when I was doing my quizzing full time for the company, I have a quiet hobby. None of you know about it. You want to guess? No? I can't even give you money because all the money I have in my pocket is all About 6,000 bucks. Acha, you guys better pay for that's part of the taxi back to the airport yeah. No, and I'm not dropping names, but I did have a chat this morning. I can't give you his name because that would be crossing. Go by Uber and pay Paytm. See, then I've got to do, my daughter who's 21 in Calcutta has to book it for me because she knows how to book it faster than I can do it on my phone. So that's a complicated bloody process. So it's her wallet. Okay. Now, where was I? Bhaskar, I was speaking to someone in the morning about this, and he said, 98, about this money part. My hobby. No, the speaking to someone said 98% of Indians have bank accounts. What's the problem? I'm speaking to someone, not someone. A senior union minister. This is off the subject. And he said 98% of Indians have bank accounts. So I said, come to Godiahat market in Calcutta and see in the morning when you're buying vegetable and fish, whether you can go with your bank account and pay for your sabzi. 98%. Anyway, that is on 16th. Today is only the 9th. Today is the 9th. Parliament starts on 16th. 11 o'clock, we'll be doing all this. Okay. Yeah, so I have a hobby. I had a hobby. Now, if somebody sold me a magazine, digital or magazine, whatever way, and you charged me 1,000 rupees a month per copy, I would pay. Yeah. So maybe that's a market. So you know what I'm trying to say? I'm not going to leave you with some crazy ideas because I really believe I was passionate about horse racing. It's very technical. The breeding of horses, the running of horses, the international horse racing, Indian horse racing. I would pay. Now, I'm just giving you an example. So that is what I call recreational knowledge. And in my quizzing and knowledge world, where this is my own crazy definition, I basically think there are two kinds of knowledge. Depends on which space. Because I said I'm not talking about news because news and magazines won't go. So there is recreational knowledge, the kind I just told you about, because I want to know more about horse racing. Will I make money about it? No. It's just my recreation. And the other one, which is the bigger market for knowledge and quiz for me, when I was in that space, or I'm in that space, is not recreational, but purposive knowledge. So the best example of purposive knowledge is the competition success and review. At that time when I was doing quizzes, they would pay me more money to do one of their shows because I didn't want to do the show. I didn't, Nestle and Cadbury and Coca-Cola and Vodafone, beep, sorry, okay, Geo. Those are the brands. But the reason I did competition success review was because there is a great knowledge space and they wanted. So I think, if you ask me, so between recreational knowledge and purposive knowledge, I think the space is purposive knowledge. Tell me how to clear CLAT. Give me magazine ammunition to clear my joint, that's the kind of feel I have. Now let me give you some bad news. Just got a ticker that Trump is actually very, very close to being declared the President of the United States of America. No, you want to clap about it? Go outside and clap. Okay. Okay, yeah, close. Not over yet. Not over yet, but close. Yeah? Any questions? Yeah, go ahead. You can ask me politics. You can ask me the media, how we discuss. I'm on a committee which discusses this media in a big way. You guys are going to be discussed on the 10th, tomorrow. My gosh, tomorrow there's a parliamentary party meeting discussing whether TRI have been fair to Vodafone, Airtel and Idea and have been unfair to you guys or vice versa. We're going to discuss this tomorrow.